We are the Fallen members, Ben Moody and Carly Smithson. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thank you.
Now, new album out, We Are the Fallen. Tell me a little bit about it.
Carly Smithson, why don't you take this one?
We Are the Fallen. It consists of Ben Moody, John LeCompte, Marty O'Brien, Rocky Gray, and myself, Carly Smithson. It is. We are all inspired by many, many things. This record is the soundtrack to our lives. It has dark places. It has very emotional, tender places, angry places, and it's just a wall of guitars, a wall of strings, choir, and sound. Basically, it's a pretty big record, and you got to listen loud.
Ben, tell me a little bit about how this all came together.
I was in a previous band with John and Rocky, and that sort of dwindled, at least our parts in it did. And I spent a lot of years writing and producing for other people, and I've been working with Marty O'Brien ever since the day I left that band, and I've just been wanting to get a band together for a long time, but nothing felt right. And Marty and I have been trying together. And one day I just kind of was, going back and forth with my manager with some ideas, and he just kind of laughingly said, "Why don't you get the band back together?" Meaning call Rocky and John. And I laughed, but then it started to sink in and seem like a better and better idea. So I did. And next thing you know, literally, it just started steamrolling from there. And we were very fortunate enough very early in the process to meet and find Carly, who was, just fit in like two things that fit together.
Not chalk and cheese.
Not chalk and cheese. More like a glove and a hand, for which the glove was made.
So, Carly, tell me about how far the music that you're performing now, how far off is it from the core of what you want to perform? Is this it?
Yeah, well, Bury Me Alive, our single, was actually written previous to meeting the boys, and it was part of the solo record that I was making. When we met, it was honestly, when they played me some of the music they had been working on, everything fit so perfectly. It was so, right place, right time, meant to be. It was incredible.
Now, listening to the record, your vocals and this guitar, these deep guitar melodies that are going on in this song, and the way I guess it's dramatic guitar and your vocals. Tell me a little bit about what it was like to write for this record.
Well, honestly, one of the main points in starting this project was to have a true democracy and a true collaboration between all members, which a lot of bands say that's the case, but it's rarely the case. With us, it was almost like an experiment. We were like, everyone is going to input equally on everything. Everyone's going to write and do their thing. So in the beginning, it was a bit of a scary process. It could have gone terrible. You get that many people with equal say. It could have been 3 years before we had a song. But for some reason, it was so perfect, the timing and just the people that were involved, that writing for this record was just almost like stream of consciousness. It literally poured out in about 6.5 weeks.
Our plan wasn't even to actually do a record in the beginning. We were going to do around 2 songs every 8 weeks, which now, waiting for this record to come out, I think would have driven me mad, because as soon as you have the music, you want everybody to hear it. So, but yeah, we sat down to do that, and this record we started writing so fast that it was undeniable that this was just such a perfect chemistry and match with all of us.
No, that brings us to chemistry. For those who don't know, Ben was in a band called Evanescence, and Carly was a finalist on American Idol. Mm-hmm. So, two very different worlds colliding here and creating this incredible record. What did it take? How did you find Ben? How did you find Carly, or Carly, how did you find the guys?
What's funny is I think Carly Smithson and American Idol are two very different entities. Yeah. I think Carly Smithson and us, they are very alike.
Yeah. Before American Idol, I own a tattoo shop, and I used to build cars. My roommates all built cars, so I would be out there, and they were hot rod builders, and everybody I know, pretty much all my husband's friends and stuff, heavily tattooed, Star Wars geeks.
She's a roughneck. She didn't belong in American Idol.
It's crazy. It's like all all of them in the band are just like my friends, only they make music, not cars and tattoos. But
so when she knew someone who was staying in an extra room in my house for a while, and we had met very briefly as I was coming in from a 15-hour day at work and going straight to my room, and I'd be like, hey, okay, bye.
He wasn't very friendly.
I'm not very friendly to strangers. My girlfriend Hannah Pestel and her mother Rebecca do watch the show, and I don't. And they found out that I knew Carly, and they also knew what I was doing and what I was trying to find for this band. And they pestered me relentlessly, and I refused to let my girlfriend's mother pick the singer of my rock band, And unfortunately, I was wrong yet again. And
it was a really creepy night, though, for me, because I was at a concert with his old roommate, and we were on our way back, and they all knew what was going on, but I had no idea. And she's like, "We're going to go to the house now."
Well, yeah, because she
had this creepy grin.
As soon as Hannah knew I was, or as soon as Hannah had me watch her sing some like a heart song and some other things online, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I got to meet her," because if she's anything like us personality-wise, musically, she's got it. So I called Monique and was like, you got to bring her over to the house now. And so she came over to the house at 1:30 in the morning, and we talked till dawn, and it was pretty much over.
But it was weird, because Hannah and Monique are, like, sitting in the bed with the covers up like this, all like, Ben will be down in a minute. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Everything I do is a little creepy.
Just wait, it's going to be great. He comes downstairs, he has an I Love My Wiener t-shirt on, and he's going crazy, like, this is going to be amazing, and you got to be a part of it. It was like nutty. It was
I gave her the hard sell, but the thing is, though, is I was like, we were ready to go. We had a set amount of time we could make this happen. I was like, the guys have got to meet you. They've got to hear you sing, because in the next 24 hours we are going to be in a band, and I need you to abandon your life and change the course of your career. I need you to decide by tomorrow.
It was literally like, I called my manager the next day. I was like, so I had this really weird thing happen last night. What do you think? He's like, why are you calling me? Do it. This is like perfect. He's like, I couldn't have orchestrated anything more perfect. He's like, you guys are meant to meet. So
that's one of the things about watching Idol, which I'm watching it for work purposes mostly.
Sure. I buy that.
You love it.
And there are some artists on Idol that just are not the cookie cutter, pop stars that sometimes looks to create. And you, of course, were one of them. Were you like a fifth or sixth finalist?
I was sixth, and I struggled. I honestly, I do believe that the right person won, because he was able to take that fast, pick an obscure song that you would never even sing in a bad dream, in life, and make it sound great. And I couldn't do that. Like, I struggled. I wanted to get rock songs on the show, and they don't clear because the artists don't want you to sing their song in American Idol. So for me, it was a very struggling situation. I left with a smile on my face, not because I didn't like the show, because don't get me wrong, I loved the experience and the people are amazing, but because for me it was a little bit frustrating that I don't play. I write, I write music, and I needed to meet people like this to create.
Just one more question on that, because this is my own curiosity. Mm-hmm. Someone like you, who is a rocker, who is a singer-songwriter, who has is outside the pop realm. How did you even get involved in doing Idol? How did that come about?
Well, the first time, it's actually a really funny story. I was in. I was not a legal resident of America. I was married, so I was legally allowed to stay, but I wasn't allowed to work. And I was at a Motley Crue show at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas with some crazy friends of mine, and we walked outside, and they were auditioning American Idol across the street at the Thomas something Convention Center. So they were all like, well, we want to audition, so let's go. And I literally joined the line at about 6 in the morning after leaving the Motley Crue show. I barely had any makeup on anymore, and I had a pair of khaki pants and a shirt, and everyone else in line was like glittered and bedazzled, and I definitely didn't feel like I fitted in. And then they said no tattoos, so I was trying to like cover them up with everything that I could, and that year I made it all the way to Hollywood, and they were very happy that I was there, and then they had to disqualify me because I didn't have a proper work permit. So because I thought it was an auditioning process and I wouldn't need it, so they came to San Diego 2 years later, and they were just down the street, so I decided to go.
Wow.
It's a huge opportunity, and financially it's a huge opportunity as well. For someone that does want to make it in the music industry, you need money to do that. And for years I had been in San Diego, and it just, for someone that's a waitress and, you know, a bartender, it's not something that you can really afford to be able to go to LA and stop what you're doing and start to create. It's very difficult, and for me it gave me that vehicle to be able to move up to LA and bump into people like this, you know, so it was perfect for me.